The Colosseum once shook with the roar of 50,000 voices. Gladiators fought, beasts roared, and Rome itself thundered. But tonight, it sleeps. And you are the only one who walks its silent halls. Beneath a silver moon, its arches rise like giants against the night sky. You step through one of its colossal gateways. The stone is cool beneath your hand, carved with the faded names of emperors, gods, and victories long past. A hush lingers here, as if the city itself holds its breath. The corridor stretches before you, a vaulted passage lit by flickering torches. Their glow dances across the curved stone ceiling, casting shadows that move like whispers. The air is cool, carrying the scent of earth and age. Your footsteps echo faintly, as though the walls remember every soul that has ever passed through. From the darkness of the hallway, you emerge into the vast interior of the Colosseum. The arena lies before you, its sandy floor glowing softly in moonlight. The silence here is profound, the kind that feels alive, as if the stones themselves are waiting to speak. Rows upon rows of marble seats rise into shadow, their symmetry endless, their grandeur eternal. Above, arches open to the sky, framing the moon and stars in perfect geometry. Once this place thundered with voices. The roar of the crowd, the clash of gladiators, the cries of victory and defeat. But tonight there is only stillness. Torches flicker gently against the marble, their light weaving with the pale glow of the moon. The sand rests untouched, a quiet ocean at the center of this ancient stone crown. You begin your slow descent down a marble staircase, each step smooth, worn by centuries of passage. Carvings of eagles and laurel wreaths catch the torchlight as you pass, symbols of triumph glowing softly in the night. At the foot of the stairs, the arena opens wide before you, timeless and still. You pause here, in the silence of midnight. The Colosseum seems to breathe, its arches holding the weight of centuries. You are alone, yet not alone, for the memory of Rome lingers in every stone, watching, listening, waiting. And as you stand in the moonlight, the Colosseum sleeps, but it dreams. And tonight, you are part of its dream. You step onto the sand of the arena floor. It stretches wide and smooth before you, its pale surface glowing faintly under the watchful moon. The silence here is deep, vast, as though the Colosseum itself is holding its breath. Above, the tiers of marble seating rise higher and higher, circling the arena in perfect symmetry, a crown of stone beneath the stars. Once this sand was alive with sound, the pounding of footsteps, the clash of steel, the roar of beasts released from shadowed gates, and above, tens of thousands of voices surged together, a tide of noise that shook the very earth. But tonight that sound is gone. Only the memory of it lingers, woven into the stones, whispering through the arches. You lower your gaze to the sand. Here faint impressions linger, shapes that could be footsteps, or perhaps only tricks of the shifting ground. They seem to move in the moonlight, shadows of lives once lived, a reminder that this ground once carried triumph and despair alike. Every grain of sand feels heavy with history. You lift your eyes again to the soaring arches. Moonlight pours through them, falling like silver rain across the upper tiers. The shadows of great statues in their niches stretch across the seats, silent guardians of an empire that once believed it would never fade. The night air is cool, and in the stillness, you can almost hear the breath of the crowd, a phantom echo woven into the night. On the arena floor, a column rests where it has fallen, its carvings cracked, its surface worn, but it still gleams softly in the torchlight. It lies like a sleeping titan, a reminder that even the strongest stone will one day bow to time. Around it, the sand glows in the silver moonlight, smooth and still, a quiet ocean carrying the memory of Rome. Here in the center of this vast circle, you are both surrounded and alone. The walls rise above you like cliffs of marble, arches framing the stars beyond. Every shadow, every glimmer of light, feels like the Colosseum itself is alive, breathing softly in its slumber. The voices of Rome are gone, but the echo remains, a soundless chorus, a memory that does not fade. The Colosseum sleeps, but it remembers. You leave the open arena behind, stepping into the shadow of a narrow stairwell. The marble steps curve downward, smooth beneath your feet, polished by the countless who once walked this way. A faint torch burns in an iron sconce, its flame trembling, casting long shadows that stretch and bend with each flicker. The air grows cooler, heavy with the scent of stone and damp earth. You descend into the quiet labyrinth below the Colosseum. A vaulted corridor stretches ahead, its walls built of heavy Roman brick. Arches repeating into the darkness like a dream without end. Moisture glistens along the stone, catching the torchlight in fleeting sparks. The sound of your own breath seems louder here, echoing softly against the walls. Each step feels as if it stirs something long asleep. To your left, an alcove opens in the wall. There, a set of armor rests upon a wooden stand, a helmet dented and dulled, a shield bearing the scars of battle. The torchlight touches the bronze, and for a moment the metal seems alive, as though waiting for a hand that will never come. The silence deepens, and you move on. Your hand runs across the damp stone. It is rough, uneven, marked with faint carvings nearly erased by centuries. Letters scratched in Latin. Half a phrase still visible. A name, perhaps. A prayer. Or only a trace of someone who once waited here. The wall breathes history, and the torchlight makes it shimmer as if still alive. Further on, you come to an iron gate. Its bars are rusted, yet they still stand firm. Above it, a narrow crack in the ceiling lets in a sliver of moonlight. The pale silver glow mixes with the orange flicker of the torch, two lights colliding, one eternal, one fading. The gate creaks faintly as the wind stirs through it, a whisper carried from some hidden corner of the Colosseum. The corridor divides, two paths stretching into shadow, one torch burning at the corner. Its flame wavers, barely keeping the dark at bay. The stone drips with moisture, tiny droplets echoing softly as they strike the ground. The sound is steady, patient, as if time itself is counting the moments. Here, the Colosseum feels secretive, a hidden body of stone that remembers in silence. You stand in the hush of the underground, a place where footsteps are echoes, and silence speaks louder than sound. The Colosseum dreams here too, but in these passages its dreams are darker, quieter, more mysterious. You walk deeper into the corridor. The torchlight thins. The shadows grow thicker. The walls are rough here, their bricks dark with damp, their mortar crumbling with age. The air is heavy, still, as though the earth itself is listening. A break in the ceiling above lets a pale shaft of moonlight spill down across the floor. Dust drifts through the beam, sparkling like tiny stars suspended in air. The light reveals every crack in the stone, every mark of time etched upon the wall. And yet, in this stillness, you feel as if the beam itself is pointing, guiding you onward. The passage bends and the sound changes. It is not loud, only the faintest suggestion, like the memory of voices carried in the stone. They are not words you can hear, not songs you can follow, only a presence woven into silence. You pause, listening, but there is nothing more. The torch beside you flutters, its light bending and stretching across the wall. For a moment, the shadows seem to take shape. Rows of figures, faces turned toward the arena above. But as the flame steadies, the forms dissolve, leaving only bare stone and silence again. Perhaps it was nothing, perhaps it was memory. Your hand brushes against the wall, finding shallow carvings, faint outlines of gladiators, beasts, and gods. In the flickering light, they seem to shift, to move ever so slightly, like echoes of scenes once lived. You blink. They are still again. Only shadows. Only stone. You walk on. The corridor narrows. The torchlight fades behind you. Only a single flame remains, its glow barely holding the dark at bay. At the far end, the blackness is complete, waiting, silent. Here, the Colosseum does not roar, does not shine. It whispers, and in its whisper you hear not words, but the weight of centuries. A phantom voice, not of a man or a crowd, but of Rome itself, still speaking softly in the silence of the night. You leave the underground behind, climbing the winding stairs that lead back to the open air. The torches fade into shadow below, and a cool breath of night greets you as you rise into the higher tiers. Here, the Colosseum feels different. The corridors open wider, the arches stretch taller, and the arena lies far below. A glowing circle of sand bathed in moonlight. At the very top, a marble seat waits. The Emperor's place, carved with lions, with eagles, and wreaths of victory. It gazes out over all of Rome's grand theatre. The moonlight falls across its polished surface, and for a moment, it seems almost alive. A throne of stone, still carrying the weight of command. From here, the arena is vast, a sea of sand encircled by endless marble. Once, this view was filled with spectacle, the roar of beasts, the cries of warriors, the thunder of the crowd. Now, it is silence, and the silence is greater still, a sound that fills every shadow, every seat, every stone. Through the high arches, the city of Rome stretches into the night. Temples gleam in the moonlight. Rooftops glow faintly with the light of lamps. From here, the empire once seemed eternal, its heart beating loud in every torch, every voice, every stone of this place. And though the voices are gone, the view remains. The Colosseum remembers. Slowly, the night begins to break. At first, only a hint of gold touches the highest arches. The stars fade one by one, and the deep indigo sky gives way to pale blue. The Colosseum stirs, its stones glowing as though the dawn were waking them from a long dream. The arena floor shines now, its sand painted gold by the sun. The shadows stretch long across it, but even they soften, their edges blurred by the growing light. The marble seats glisten, row after row catching the warmth of morning. For the first time tonight, The Colosseum no longer belongs to the moon. It belongs to the sun. High above, the emperor's throne glows in the early light. The carvings of lions and eagles shine, their details sharp against the warm sky. Once a seat of command, it is now only stone. Yet in the silence of sunrise, it feels like a monument not to power, but to memory, to time itself. Through the arches, the city of Rome awakens. Smoke curls faintly from chimneys. A bell tolls softly in the distance. The rooftops glow with the light of dawn, and the horizon burns orange and pink. For a moment you feel as though the Colosseum itself is opening its eyes, watching the city it once commanded. The night has passed, the silence remains, but in the rising sun there is peace. You stand at the heart of Rome's greatest monument, alone yet not alone, surrounded by centuries, bathed in light. The Colosseum has shown you its shadows, its echoes, its whispers, and now it shows you its dawn. Eternal, unmoving, yet alive in memory. As the sun climbs higher, the dream fades, but the Colosseum remains, always, waiting, remembering, breathing. If your eyes are still open, stay with me for the next midnight walk. Subscribe to Rome at Rest.